Hello and welcome to stage 4 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour 2019. Well, after a relatively flat opening half to this year's race, things significantly changed gear today as we head towards the first hilltop finish of the tour. And the riders will be hoping for an incident-free day in the saddle after a dramatic third stage. There was an early wake-up call for the riders on stage 3. After setting out from Henley-on-Thames, they were straight into the first classified climb of the day. Current holder of the Skoda Queen of the Mountains jersey, Christine Majerus, was first over the top to increase her lead in the competition. Then Trek Segafredo's Anna Plichter launched an attack. She stayed away over the second climb of the day at Britwell Hill. Christine Majerus led the chasing pack to pick up more Queen of the Mountains points. Plichter was still out on her own for the Iceberg sprints at Wallingford and Didcot, her lead now up to a minute. But behind her, the race took a dramatic turn. A crash on the approach to Didcot saw Marianne Vos suffer a heavy fall and resulted in her abandoning the tour. Also unable to continue were two of her teammates, Valerie Demey and Gianni Corrivar. Anna Plichter was eventually reeled in, and as the peloton reached Blenheim Palace, it was all set up for a bunch sprint.
Jolien Dora is right there in that pink jersey now. They line up for the finish between Brennauer and Dora. Dora takes her second stage victory of this race.
So after stage 3, Lisa Brennauer is the new leader of the tour. She has a 3-second advantage over Corinne Rivera, with Lizzie Deignan and Amy Peters a further second back. And Lizzie Deignan joins me this morning. First things first, how are you? Because I hear you came down twice yesterday.
Yeah, I did actually, but I think I'm one of the lucky ones. In the first crash I was kind of stuck underneath people and on top of people, and I think I was just more in shock at that point. And then the second crash I winded myself, so I hit the back of my shoulder blades pretty hard, so I'm a bit stiff, but I'm really okay, to be honest.
Yeah, and you know, a difficult day, of course. We never want to see anyone go home. Marianne, of course, the race leader, having to leave. You know, how was everyone feeling at the end of yesterday?
We were really disappointed. Yeah, we lost Trixie Warwick as well. She's our road captain, and unfortunately she had facial injuries, so yeah, it was just a tough day for everybody. And yeah, huge respect for Marianne as a competitor, and you know, nobody wants to lose their best rival in a race, and it's just one of those days. It's bike racing, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's very true, and something everyone's saying in the peloton, and something else everyone's saying in the bunch is how the race kind of takes a turn today and heads a bit to the hills as the next 3 days are going to dictate. What are your sort of thoughts on what is coming up today?
A long day, yeah. I mean, it's 160k, 7k neutral. It's just going to be a long, wet day, so that's hard enough. But the actual climbs at the end are pretty tough. And again, just because there's a reduced bunch now as well, there's nobody who can really control things. So again, I have to be prepared for anything, really.
And it's raining, you like that?
Yeah, I used to like that. I don't know, maybe I'm getting old. I don't like it as much.
Lizzie, thanks for joining us today. Good luck out there. And for now, let's hear from the rest of the peloton.
We did a bit of a video recon yesterday. Our DS was pretty good for us, and went out in the car and took a video, and we watched that last night on our laptops. But other than that, haven't seen it. I do remember from last year we've done a bit of the same course, so there are some cattle grids to watch out for. I do remember getting stuck on those last year as well, so yeah, it might be a bit of action out there again today.
It's not a long or a very steep one, but you have to think also that we came from 3 days of races, and also today we will have 150 kilometers in our legs when we will approach these final climbs, and so this will make a great difference for everybody. Everybody will feel tired, and so that will make the climbs twice harder.
Today's the first kind of big day where we're going to see big GC splits. There's already been little bits and pieces with the sprints and the bonus seconds on the finish, but today is going to be kind of the beginning of where it's really set up for the GC. After 160k, we've already done kind of, I don't know, 450k already in the last 3 days. So people are tired already. They're going to be really tired when we get to the circuit after 130k today. They're going to be cold. So it's going to be kind of survival of the fittest, I think, and yeah, we'll just see what happens.
I think
the next 3 days is definitely for people who will be looking for breakaways, and then the big climbers will be looking to rip everybody's legs off, and I'll just be surviving.
I'm joined now by Amy Gardner, the cycling lead for the West Midlands. Tell us firstly, why is today so special?
Today's a really special day. With HSBC UK, we're here to celebrate that we've reached 250,000 participants for our Breeze programme, and we're joined by 17 Breeze champions here leading out the ride at the Women's Tour.
Is it sort of going in alignment with your expectations for that participation level?
Absolutely, we're seeing huge growth in the programme since we launched our women's strategy in 2013. Our aim is to get 1 million more women riding by 2020, and we're already well past our 800,000 mark. So yeah, it's really exciting.
And how important is the buzz around the OVO Energy Women's Tour this week?
Oh, it's hugely important to the sport, both from a participation perspective, but also just raising awareness of the Breeze programme as well, that it's free, it's fun and accessible for all women to take part.
Amy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And for now, let's take a look at what is in store here from Warwick for Stage 4. From the start in Warwick, Stage 4, the longest of this year's tour, heads north of Coventry before swinging east towards the sprint at Brinklow. There's another sprint at Pillerton Priors before the first climb of the day up Sunrising Hill. The stage ends with 2 laps of a gruelling 12.6-kilometre circuit, culminating in a hilltop finish in Burton Dasset Country Park. The OVO Energy Women's Tour returns to Warwickshire for the 4th year running. With its iconic castle, historic university and attractive parks and gardens, Warwick provides a great backdrop for the start of Stage 4. The finish will take place in the beautiful countryside of Burton Dasset Hills Country Park. Spread over 100 acres of rolling countryside, the park has featured on both the men's and women's tours in previous years. Time now to join all the race action from a rather wet Stage 4 start here in Warwick in the company of our commentators. Here's Martin McDonald and Joanna Russell-Shan.
Stage 4 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour from Warwick to Burton Dasset Country Park. Shadows here of the historic Warwick Castle, and it's our first ever hilltop finish here in the history of the Women's Tour, rolling out from the start. Entry picture in that green jersey, Lisa Brennauer, just to her left in the black Skoda Queen of the Mountains jersey, Christine Majerus. Yoli Endura starts in the pink breast cancer care points jersey. Corin Rivera goes into today's stage still in that red jersey as the Iceberg Sprints leader. Joe, today's stage, as we said, it's the first hilltop finish in the history of the Women's Tour.
I think a lot of people will have been looking forward to today. It's something we've not seen in this race before. It's definitely one the climbers will look forward to, but because it isn't actually the biggest climb in the race, a lot of people could surprise other riders here. It could be one for some more of the all-rounders, could be one for a breakaway today as well. So I think it's something a bit different. It's something that I'm looking forward to watching, and I think the riders will be relishing this opportunity to showcase women's cycling on a tough course like this.
Now just going through some of our teams after a tough day yesterday. There's quite a few teams, and in particular CCC Live down to just a couple of riders now. Our overall leader going into yesterday's stage, Marianne Vos, unfortunately crashing out of the stage. She lost a lot of her teammates. Ashley Moorman-Passio, we've heard, hasn't started the stage this morning. It's kind of going to be a strange day for Lisa Brennauer in that green jersey. Sort of mixed emotions. You don't really want to take the lead in a race like that.
Definitely. So as a bike racer or an athlete of any kind, you want to beat the best, and when you win you want to be beating the best in the world if possible. So it will have been mixed emotions for her yesterday to take that jersey in the circumstances that happened, with Voss unfortunately crashing out. At the same time, this is part and parcel of bike racing, and there'll be other occasions where other people crash out, and it is tough and it's not nice, but it's a 6-day long stage race here and we're halfway through now. So for Lisa Brennauer, she's in a great position. She's a previous winner herself as well, so she needs to just focus on this next day of racing and see how she can look to win this bike race overall.
Yes, indeed. Gold past all our school kids, rolling out to kilometre 0. You can see for the riders today, all suited up against the cold in terms of the weather. Rainy day ahead of the riders, about 11 to 14 degrees Celsius. must be some lots of rain showers. You can see they've all got the big rain jackets on. That's usually a telling sign, isn't it? As we hit kilometre 0, racing starts. If you've got those big rain jackets up, you know it's going to be a tough day ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So you don't want to start the race cold, so a lot of riders will start in their rain jackets, then later on in the race they'll be able to drop back and take those off if they need to.
Couple of abandons, Bertazzolo and Kessler called it a day on today's stage. So rolling out here along the route, and a big attack now, and it's Sarah Roy of Mitchelton Scott that's now going clear. You can see immediate reaction behind from Alicia Polini and Team WNT, but Joe, the sprinter, going clear early on in the stage.
This is a really exciting move. So there's not much control in the peloton. There's no big team with the power now, because we lost quite a few riders yesterday. So, you know, CCC just down to 2 riders. So no one really able to control this, and she's getting a nice gap now.
So Sarah Roy, just around 30 kilometres covered, 2 sprints and 4 climbs still to come. The sprinter looking for a long day out in the saddle. Stage 4 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour from Warwick to Burton Dasset Country Park. 1 kilometre to go to the first iceberg sprint of the day. Our solo leader, Sarah Roy of Mitchelton Scott, going clear after just 30 kilometres of today's stage. Going into today's stage, 6 seconds off the lead. And we now have 2 chasers, Lottie Becker from FDJ and Femke Marcus from the Park Hotel of Valkenburg team. So Sarah Roy just 6 seconds off the lead, building a commanding lead now as she goes into Brinklow.
Yes, Sarah Roy been having a fantastic race so far this week. We know she's won 2 stages of this race before in the previous 2 editions, so obviously likes racing in the UK. And currently these chasers have got 4:23 over the peloton, so these 3 riders all got a big gap over the bunch at the moment.
They have indeed. Sarah Roy now heading towards this. These 2 riders, though, trying to get up towards Sarah Roy. It's the first time if these 2 can latch on to our lone leader. We've had solo breakaways, Abby May Parkinson, Anna Plichter as well. This would make the start of our first group. She just rolls through here, takes 3 bonus seconds and 3 bonus points as well. But going early on in the stage today, this is the first time we could see a multiple breakaway this year.
Yeah, so if these 3 riders can join up and work together, that would be a really strong breakaway group. We've got a mix of sort of youth and experience here. So Charlotte Becker, been a pro for I think 14 or 15 years, so very, very experienced rider. Sarah Roy, also I think 33 years old. And then Femke Marcus there from Park Hotel Valkenburg, just 22 years old. So a mix of youth and experience, but all with riders back in the peloton that will now not have to work because they've got riders up the road. And the onus really is on the big teams like Trek Segafredo to control this if they want to.
Have indeed our 2 chasers looking to join up with our lone leader, Sarah Roy. So now 3 riders at the head of the race. Sarah Roy, our virtual leader on the road, on towards our second iceberg sprint of the day. And then we will head towards our first Skoda Queen of the Mountains at Sunrising Hill. And then we have 3 ascents of Burton Dasset with a hilltop finish. Behind though, Joe, 4:40 is the time gap. We're starting to see a bit of organisation now. Canyon Stram and Trek Segafredo trying to defend this, but you can see just how much they're battling through the wind.
Yeah, so we can see the bunch here isn't spread out across the road, so that's always a real giveaway as to how hard it is in the bunch. When the bunch is all spread out, everyone's sort of within themselves. When it's strung out like that, everyone is fighting to be on a wheel. So I always used to think when I was racing, when a time gap got really big to a breakaway, it probably meant it's going to get really hard in the bunch soon. Once those girls got on the front, the likes of Ellen Van Dijk, you know, those real big powerhouses start chasing down, it's going to be a tough day on the bike for those girls in the peloton as well now.
Peloton Pliers is our second sprint. Our gaps, just to give you an idea of how the gap grew, the maximum advantage that our breakaway have enjoyed so far today was 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So when you get a gap of that sort of advantage, especially someone like Lottie Becker in here, you know as we come up towards this next sprint, Sarah Roy is just going to roll through here. And this is the right thing to do. No messing around, no sprinting. They just want to keep that pace nice and high, keep the continuity and the fluid movement of the brake and not lose any time.
Yeah, the key here is for these three riders to work together. They don't need to race each other for these sprints. Ultimately, the best thing they can do is try and stay away till the finish. So like you say, Charlotte Becker, incredibly strong rider, a previous team time trial world champion, previous team pursuit rider as well on the track. So there's some real good power in this breakaway, and if they can keep working together, this could be a real promising effort here to try and take the stage.
So looking ahead now onto our first climb of the day. Sunrising Hill is the climb that the riders have ahead of them. See how hard they're having to work behind WNT, the team of Lisa Brennauer. They've got one rider up here, so they'll be quite happy that they've got some assistance here from the likes of Trek Segafredo and Canyon Shrams. The climb starting just 700 meters at the categorized climb, average gradient of 7%. Going into today's stage, Christine Majerus leading in the Skoda Queen of the Mountains classification with 22 points, ahead of Anna Plichter and Kasia Nuva-Doma. And Sarah Roy now out of the saddle on this climb. But for these three breakaway riders, it's all about trying to pull back time, and there you have your gap. 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So they're starting to get this, where you'd say at this point in the race, down to a controllable gap. And Charlotte Becker now is starting to just drop off the back as the climb starts to bite.
This is a really tough climb, so at this point it's difficult to work well really as a breakaway. You need to just sort of get yourself up there as best you can. We did see a lot of organisation in the peloton now, so a couple of riders from Canyon Sham on the front, showing that perhaps Cassie Nuva-Doma is feeling good for today. Also seeing Trek Segafredo and WNT up there as well. Of course, WNT got the green jersey with Lisa Brennauer, so a few teams get themselves organised, but these girls away now need to get themselves over this climb and then regroup and keep working hard together.
Femke Marcus having to work hard to hang on to Sarah Roy here, and again just shows how deceptively steep the climbs can be in this part of the world. And it's Sarah Reichers on the front here, the Austrian national champion. So let's see some colours of Team Tibco getting up here now. So Chloe Hosking in that yellow, black and orange jersey for Alei Cipollini. And Marcus now just settling into the gap now behind Sarah Roy.
You can see the pain on their faces here, and it is, they need to just get themselves over as best they can. They can't really wait for Charlotte Becker at this point because she is a little bit of a way back, but she might be able to get back on the descent. So these girls just get themselves over this climb, then they can regroup and then keep working together. But you can see the pain on their faces here. This is a deceptively steep climb.
Is indeed. So they got to crest the summit of this one, a category 2 climb, and Femke Marcus, you can see just how hard she's having to work here on this steep little climb. And again, back to our chasers. Lisa Brennauer now has got the team on the front. Valkart just moving up there as well. You can just see the pink and blue colours of Team Valkart are there, and she's really making a real hard effort to hang on to Sarah Roy here. Quite interested to see Sarah Roy's effort today. As we said, she's a double stage winner. We know her as a sprinter. It's great to see someone like here, you know, putting her nose out into the wind, you know, trying to get as close as she can to the finish and try and stay as high as she can in the general classification. Absolutely, she's really taking this race on. You know, she's not, you know, pigeonholing herself as just a sprinter. She's gone on the attack very early here and showing how strong she is. Our bunch are on to the climb. Watch out for that Skoda Queen of the Mountains jersey of Christine Majerus. But it's going to be maximum points, it looks like, over the summit here for Sarah Roy. Marcus quite content just to sit in the wheel now of the Mitchelton Scott rider. You can just see shifts into the bigger gears now as she goes over the top. And these two riders will press on the descent.
We've obviously got points here for the top 6 riders over the climb, so we might see some action back in the peloton now as they came up here. Christine Majerus obviously unable to take any of the top points because that's been taken by the breakaway, but she'll still want to score highly here to maintain the lead in that jersey. And we just saw her coming up towards the front. Ellen Van Dijk of Trek Segafredo is leading the bunch. She's got Elisa Longo Borghini right on the wheel. That's on this sun rising hill. There you go, good shot there. Lizzie Banks there in the mint and black colours there of Team Bigler. She's coming up towards the front. Kasia Nuva-Doma on the far side in the orange. Trek Segafredo though today. Elisa Longo Borghini comes into this race after that overall win and stage wins in the Macamín-Bira race in Spain. They are all about Lizzie Deignan. And there's Lottie Becker on the descent though, chasing to try and get back on to our leading group.
coming towards the finish today. Trek working hard with Ellen van Dijk on the front. They got real two cards to play on this finishing climb with both Longa Borghini and Dignan.
Yeah, Trek Segafredo have got brilliant options there, like you say, with Longa Borghini and Dignan, so we're never quite sure who they're going to work for, so that really plays into their hands with the other teams not quite sure what they're going to do. Brilliant to see Lizzie Banks up there for Bigler, so I'm excited to see how she can get on this race. She had a brilliant Tour de Yorkshire earlier in the year and is, you know, a really exciting up-and-coming rider.
See that green OVO Energy Leaders jersey of Lisa Brennau, another general classification winner in this race, and she's got a good team around her. Erica Magnaudi, the rider that's close to the front now for Team WNT, you can just see her just on the left there. She's a phenomenal climber. Leanne Lippert now coming up towards the front here for Team Sunweb. Our Skoda Queen of the Mountains leader, Christine Majerus of Bull Dolmans, now up towards the front. She wants the points for 4th place, and she takes them. And she's followed over the summit there by Ellen van Dijk. There's confirmation of your result. Roy Marcus Becker taking 3rd, and then Majerus extending her lead in the Queen of the Mountains with 3 points. It's looking tough here. Our breakaway group, we have 3 ascents now of Burton Dassett. Stage 4 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour from Warwick to Burton Dassett Country Park, 158.9 kilometres. We are now on to the first of 3 ascents of the climb. 1.2 kilometres in length, 5% average gradient. Our lone chaser in the gap, Lottie Becker, she was with our 2 leaders. And with Sunweb and WNT working hard on the front, don't think it'll be long before Lottie Becker swept up.
Yeah, for the other 2 leaders, they need to make a decision and think, are we going to wait or are we going to keep going? They've obviously thought it's in their best interest to push on here. They're the best breakaway we've seen so far this stage race, and really the best chance for a stage victory for a breakaway this whole race.
We go through the first passage of the line with 25.1 kilometres to go. We'll swoop back round and they'll get the bell with 12.5 kilometres remaining. And as you can see there, that'll be, when we come around for the final time, the 2 kilometre to go point. It's the team of Lisa Brennau in that green OVO Energy Leaders jersey. She's got the team hard at work on the front. The Team Sunweb, called last year's winner, Corin Rivera, onto the lower slopes of the climb. Good crowds out again.
Yeah, so for Team WNT, with Lisa Brennau in the green overall leaders jersey, it's their responsibility to control the peloton and sort of initiate the chase. But if there's other teams with riders that think they could win today, or think they want to launch an attack and go for the stage or go for the overall GC of this whole race, they'll be getting involved in the chase too. So we have seen a few Sunweb riders up there as well at the moment.
So just going across the category, you can see that climb just stretching out in front of us. This is the first time that we've had a hilltop finish in the OVO Energy Women's Tour. We'll take the stage at the top. Lottie Becker, she's not a huge distance behind. She's just going through the Queen of the Mountains start. The Vittoria neutral service car goes past. That's a telltale sign that they're getting towards 30 seconds behind her, and go back to the front of the peloton, and it's Mitchelton Scott, the teammates of Sarah Roy, as they start the climb, that are now coming through towards the front.
This is the first chance for everyone in the race to see this finish. Obviously, we're going to go up it 3 times. 2 times with Queen of the Mountain points at the top, and the final time being the finish. So anyone looking for Queen of the Mountain points needs to be up there, but also anyone looking to try and win the stage overall, this is a brilliant chance for them to see the finish ahead of the actual finish.
So the peloton now have Lottie Becker in their sights, the German rider, on road track rider over the years now, with WNT coming through. Kristin Majerus, the Skoda Queen of the Mountains leader, getting brought towards the front of the peloton. Having a look at this climb so far, it's a good climb coming up towards the finish.
Yeah, this is a really tough climb, and also doing it 3 times is always going to be really tough. We've seen Kristin Majerus being very vigilant throughout this race, always positioning herself well for these Queen of the Mountain points. So I'd be looking to her and seeing if she's going to go for these points as well. But currently it's Team WNT on the front, leading Lisa Brennau there in second wheel in the green OVO Energy jersey there as race leader, just keeping things in control. But this breakaway still working really hard, and I would love to see them go all the way to the line.
So Sarah Roy, just again, that's style of Femke Marcus, young rider on the Park Hotel Valkenburg team. Just a few Kermesse races to her credit as a pro rider. Again, she just battles to stay with Sarah Roy, and the climb just leveling out here very slightly. They're over the steepest part there. This is 150 meters to go up towards the line. It's going to be really useful when we come round over the course of the next couple of laps, just to get a good look at this finish.
It is really useful to see the finish if you can beforehand. So a lot of road races are point to point, so you won't get to see the finish at all until you're actually racing for the win. Some teams will recce stages before or get someone to go out and video it, but this is quite unusual for a stage race sometimes to do laps like this. So I think the riders will be relishing this opportunity to see exactly what they've got to deal with. But now there's a big attack from Trek Segafredo.
Elisa Longo Borghini, we chatted about her earlier, the Trek Segafredo team. They've got Lizzie Dynan and Elisa Longo Borghini behind. You've got Kasia Neuvedoma in the orange jersey there for Canyon SRAM. Leanne Lippert, the German champion. Lisa Brennauer just defending that as well for WNT.
That's an interesting group of riders there go on the attack. All big names. They're all riders we could be talking about, not only for the stage victory, but also for the overall. Elisa Longo Borghini, someone we've said is in good form coming into this race. And not far back, her teammate Ellen van Dijk is still there as well.
Yeah, Van Dijk just trying to come across that gap. This is a good move by the Italian rider, someone that we've talked about quite a lot, as Ellen van Dijk just gets on to Lisa Brennauer behind. And again, Ellen van Dijk doing a great ride to try and get herself up there. But this trio, again, former winner, Kasia Neuvedoma, sitting second wheel. Dangerous rider to try and get clear. There'll be alarm bells ringing in the group behind.
So Ellen van Dijk needs to do no work at all. Now she can just sit on the wheel, but it's her teammate in the blue best British riders jersey, Lizzie Dynan, trying to bridge across that gap now.
So Lizzie Dynan makes a move. There's Corin Rivera. Lizzie backs up towards the front. Jasinska is there as well. There's the WNT riders just trying to slide back. Aude Bionic just goes through the camera shot. There's confirmation of your results. Sarah Roy, Femke Marcus, and leading over from Elisa Longo Borghini. And interesting on that one, no points scored for Christine Majerus, but the Vittoria neutral service car just gets pulled out of the gap. As we said, that's when the breakaway, you know that your gap's under 30 seconds.
Yeah, so for these girls, they'll know now that they've got people chasing them hard, but we've only got a group of 3 here chasing across them, so actually they could be in a good position to try and get on this group. If they've got the legs, try and stay with these girls and still race hard to the finish.
So Lippert on the back, and Neuvedoma just has a little glance. Good little conversation going on there for Team Sunweb coming into this race. It's all been about Corin Rivera, and that's, again, a real sign of that. You saw Lippert there just saying to Neuvedoma, I'm not working.
Yeah, well, she's in a brilliant position that she can say she's got the defending champion on her team, and, you know, perhaps she's saying, I've got team orders not to work here, and, you know, that's the legitimate reason to give at this point. So you will see a few conversations, but we have got 3 big, powerful teams represented in this breakaway at the moment.
Worth pointing out as well, so the rider on the back, Leanne Lippert, Team Sunweb, she's wearing the German national champions jersey rather than the Brightweb Team Sunweb jersey. The peloton are on the descent. Little flick of the elbow now by Neuvedoma. Longo Borghini is going to come through. Again, you can see Lippert just not working. There's a little gap back from our leaders to our chasers, and this peloton is thinning down in numbers.
Yeah, peloton a lot smaller now, so there would have been a lot of riders suffering on that first ascent of that climb to the finish. Did see 1 rider there from CCC. I know they're just down to 2 riders now in this race, so for them it's all about keeping in that bunch, and they don't need to contribute any work to any chase.
And there's the gap as they go around the corner. Our 2 leaders, they went clear. Sarah Roy after just 30 kilometres. Kasia Neuvedoma, Longo Borghini and Lippert are almost with them. There's the aerial shot. The catch is almost made, and Neuvedoma, when she went on the attack in 2017 on the first stage, she took that into Kettering, and for her she set up the race on the opening day.
She did. So Kasia Neuvedoma always races very aggressively. She's a brilliant one to watch race. The attacks don't always come off, but she always has a go, and when they do come off, it is absolutely spectacular to see. So now the junction is made for these 5 riders all together now, so I think for the other 2 they'll be thinking, can we perhaps try and get on here? But it will be a very tough ask after a long time out by themselves.
Onto the second ascent now of Burton Dassett. They'll get the bell at the top. There's going to come a point here very soon where Team Sunweb have got to make the decision. Are they going to let Leanne Lippert ride, or are they again going to try and keep things together? So Corinne Rivera was in that group behind, going over the top of the last summit.
Yes, this is where communication is key in the team. So Corinne Rivera will be thinking, how am I feeling? And it'll be her job to be completely honest with her teammates and with her road captain about how her legs are, and then they can make a decision on the road about who they're going to work for.
And again, as we go up the climb, you can just see that peloton behind. So plenty of teams motivated to chase here. So, you know, Canyon SRAM, Trek Segafredo and Sunweb don't have to do any work. Roy and Marcus, though, just starting to get distanced. They've been out there all day, and there's your aerial shot, and now it's up to Lisa Brennauer. The green jersey moves through towards the front. A couple of teammates in that group, but Brennauer, she'll be roaring them on the radio to get up towards the front and help her in this chase.
Yeah, so no representation in this group from WNT, so it's up to them to work on the front. Like I said, the other teams can sit back a little bit and not do any work, and I'm just seeing Lizzie Diagram's jersey moving towards the front of that peloton at the moment.
You can just see this little telltale sign. Kasia Nuva-Doma just keeps giving a little glance to her left to Elisa Longa-Borghini. She wants the front. So she's just looking for Longa-Borghini, just testing her all the time here. Longa-Borghini moves through. You just see again that little reaction from Nuva-Doma, just rides alongside her. A real battle of wheels going on here on this climb.
All of these girls are really strong climbers. All of them like to race aggressively. Leanne Lippert just sitting at the back there, like we say, not contributing too much work. Kasia Nuva-Doma has been working really hard, really wanting to force this breakaway to succeed.
So Leanne Lippert, former European junior champion, again just a young rider, 21 years old. Again, as a pro rider, we were talking about this earlier on in the week with Abby May Parkinson. You get to that sort of the 21-year-olds and you really start to sort of find your legs at the elite level.
Yeah, exactly. The first couple of years as a pro can be really tough with that step up from junior to senior, with huge increase in race distance and a huge increase in peloton size as well. It is a big change from junior racing, and it often takes a couple of seasons to really sort of find your feet. But here, Leanne Lippert looking really, really strong.
She's looking great on the back. Nuva-Doma moves through, again just pedals towards the front as we head up towards the line. Longa-Borghini looking really strong in this group though for Trek Segafredo. Leanne Lippert playing the team card. There's your long shot of the peloton behind. 1 lap to go, so the next time we come round they'll be racing for the stage victory. Everyone's just having a glance back over the shoulder just to see where that group are behind, and with every ascent this bunch is just getting smaller and smaller.
Kasia Nuva-Doma looking really strong here, but just having a quick glance back there, just seeing what sort of gap she's got to play with. But clearly she means business today and really does want to drive this breakaway.
So as they go over the top, Christine Majerus manages to score some points. It's all about the stage victory at Burton Dassett Country Park. Stage 4 of the OVO Energy Women's Tour, from Warwick to Burton Dassett Country Park, the first summit finish in the Women's Tour history. And you can see our 3 leaders. They went over the penultimate time up the climb, now caught by that group, and it's the green jersey of Lisa Brennauer that makes the catch.
Lisa Brennauer, the race leader there, putting in a lot of effort to bring that breakaway back, but still a flurry of attacks still coming.
Corinne Rivera just coming towards the front now. Teammate Leanne Lippert got herself into that breakaway group. Everyone just looking around now. Tiff Cromwell from Canyon SRAM well to the front, and this group has just got steadily smaller as the day's gone on. There's Lippert just on the outside of your picture. Brennauer, plenty of teammates here. Seeing Hannah Barnes moving up on the outside. Canyon SRAM. This is interesting going into this final climb. So you've seen Kasia Nuva-Doma. She's just taking the opportunity just to take a little bit of a break. Rachel Neelan moving up there for Team Virtu.
We've got a very select group of riders here, so maybe 20 or 30 riders in this peloton. I'm seeing Lizzie Banks in that shot there, a couple of riders from WNT. Just 4 kilometres to go now to the finish.
So strong group. Let's have a look around. You can see a lot of riders still got those very heavy rain jackets on as we come up towards the finish. You'd think a lot of the time by this point, Joe, a lot of those big rain jackets, you want to get rid of them.
I think once the racing's this hard, there's probably not really much chance to do that. So if you're in it, you're probably stuck in it by this point, but just committing. But the weather has been terrible today, so perhaps not the worst thing for these girls.
So again, Brennauer just encouraging her teammates up towards the front. Little attack now going in from Bull Dolmans. So this team got Amy Peters in the team. Can they make a move? This looks like Carol Canuel. It's now going clear.
This team WNT again putting in the effort to chase this. Of course, they've got the race leader in that green jersey there, Lisa Brennauer. She's sat there in third wheel, just behind her teammates, and the Bowles Dolmans rider not getting much of a gap now.
So WNT drag it back. There's Hannah Barnes, you can see in that orange jersey for Canyon Tram, looking quite relaxed here at the moment.
Yeah, Hannah Barnes looking good there. So, of course, it was her teammate, Cassie Newedoma, who was in the break earlier. So, a few options for Canyon Tram in this race.
So, McNaldy comes up. Now the rain starts. So, it's been forecast all day, and it really is a deluge now. And again, Brennauer comes up towards the front. On the right there, you can see those bright orange jerseys, Canyon Tram. Lizzie Deignan getting brought up in that blue jersey. This is not what the riders would want at the end of a long day like this.
This is a really tough day out on the bike for these riders. I can just see Ellen van Dijk on the left of your shot there, bringing up Alyssa Longa-Borghini and Lizzie Deignan there for Trek Segafredo. So we've got three big name riders here, all with two teammates.
Paulina Roy-Akers on the back here, just one of two members of the CCC Live team. Now Canyon Schramm up towards the front. It's Hannah Barnes, Tiff Cromwell and Kasia Newedoma. So Newedoma went on the attack. Now they're trying to lead out their team leader for the final ascent up to the Burton Dassett Country Park.
We've got a few lead-out trains forming here now. So there's the Canyon Schramm team led by Hannah Barnes. There's Ellen van Dijk leading the Trek Segafredo team, and Christine Majerus there in the black Skoda Queen of the Mountains jersey leading out her teammate as well. So some big lead-out trains developing as we come into the base of this climb.
Amy Peters in that orange jersey for Bull Dolmans. Lizzie Banks is right behind her. She's wearing number 61. And again, Brennauer coming through. 2 kilometres to go in towards the finish. So remember this climb, 1.2 kilometres in length. You'll see the Skoda Queen of the Mountains point. When they go through that, there are still points towards that competition on the line. But now it's Trek Segafredo. Ellen van Dijk pushing on at the front of this one. And again, Canyon Schramm battle back.
This is a really tough climb we've got coming up, but these girls here are racing full gas into this. This could easily be the end of a sprint stage that we're seeing here. We've got all these lead-out trains forming, everyone wanting to be in the best position coming into the base of this climb.
Look at the effort on the face of Tiff Cromwell. Job done by her. Corin Rivera comes up towards the front. Van Dijk swings right round this corner. Trek Segafredo. Deignan is in that light blue jersey. A different jersey. There's the start of the climb. Trek Segafredo leading this out. Elisa Longa-Borghini, Kasia Newedoma, Amy Peters, all up towards the front. Here come Corin Rivera and Leanne Lippert for Team Sunweb. That red Iceberg Sprinters jersey. And Lisa Brennauer, our OVO Energy leaders green jersey, is still very much to the front.
So it looks like Corin Rivera there could be doing a job for her teammate Leanne Lippert. So they could have had a conversation about who's feeling good, but Corin Rivera there making a big effort to move herself up in this small bunch now.
Van Dijk, Longa-Borghini battling back. Demi Vollering on the left in the pink there for Park Hotel Valkenburg. 1 kilometre to go. We've seen this climb 2 times already. We know how steep it gets into the centre of that one. It was Elisa Longa-Borghini that launched the attack, that took that small group of Kasia Newedoma and Leanne Lippert clear. Do you think as this race goes on in the days to come, because Leanne Lippert still to the front here, do you think Sunweb might regret not letting her ride?
I think it was probably the right decision. She sat on that brake, saved a bit of energy. She can still go for this finish if she feels like it, but it's now Alyssa Longa-Borghini launching an attack at the front.
Longa-Borghini winds up the pace on the front. Her teammate Lizzie Deignan in that light blue jersey is not far from the front. Leanne Lippert and Kasia Newedoma, just some small gaps starting to open. The green jersey is just starting to lose the gap as Kasia Newedoma now makes her move. And again, it's the German champion from Team Sunweb that's right on there. Brennauer, you can see her, Joe, battling to try and stay with this one.
Brennauer in the green jersey there, battling as hard as she can. Lizzie Deignan as well in that light blue jersey, trying to close the gap. But Kasia Niewiadoma looking incredibly strong here. Leanne Lippert, the next closest rider.
What a season she is having. Podium in Strade Bianchi right back at the beginning of the season. The winner of the Amstel Gold Race in a daring solo attack. And she'll see the summit ahead of her. Lippert is battling back. Lizzie Deignan trying to come up. Leah Thomas from Bigler, just 300 metres to go now up towards the summit. Kasia Niewiadoma, she has never missed an opportunity over the last couple of seasons to try and take another stage victory in this race. The winner in 2017. Can Leanne Lippert find her way back in the final few metres? I don't think she's going to make it, but the German is closing. Kasia Niewiadoma now rounds the final corner. She sees that line ahead of her, just 150 metres to go. One last effort. Lippert is closing down as the climb flattens out. Kasia Niewiadoma grits her teeth. Lippert battles back, but it's going to be a stage victory for the look of it for Kasia Niewiadoma of Canyon Shroud. She takes the summit finish. Leanne Lippert, a strong second place. Lizzie Deignan crosses the line in third. We're looking for the green jersey, Amy Peters, Demi Vollering. There's Brennauer, just getting pipped on the line there by Lizzie Banks. And behind her, Christine Majerus. We'll see how that affects the general classification.
What a stunning victory there by Kasia Niewiadoma, but fighting all the way to the line, Leanne Lippert trying to minimise their time losses and clearly going for the overall as well.
Kasia Niewiadoma beat Leanne Lippert in the sprint to the line to win stage 4. There was a 7-second gap back to Lizzie Deignan in third. Amy Peters was 2 seconds behind her, and then came a group containing Demi Vollering, Lizzie Banks and the green jersey Lisa Brennauer. The winner of the 2017 edition of the Women's Tour, Kasia Niewiadoma, celebrates the stage victory in Burton Dasset Country Park. Christine Majerus still holds on to the Skoda Queen of the Mountains jersey. And in the Iceberg Sprints competition, Corin Rivera remains out in front. The Hooligan Competitivity Award went to Sarah Roy. Lizzie Deignan lies third in GC and retains the Best British Riders jersey. She finished runner-up on today's stage, but Leanne Lippert is now the overall leader of the OVO Energy Women's Tour.
Today was a great day for me. I felt really strong on the climbs, and yeah, the team had confidence in me. Yeah, I'm really happy to wear the green jersey now.
Confirmation of the GC after stage 4. Leanne Lippert and Kasia Niewiadoma are tied on the same time, but Lippert holds the green jersey thanks to finishing higher on the previous stages. Lizzie Deignan is just 3 seconds back in third, and Lisa Brennauer drops to fourth.
Well, after that stunning summit finish, Kasia joins me now. Firstly, talk us through that injection of pace at the end when you'd already been away. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of the hardest races I've ever done. I mean, because of the weather, it was raining, it was cold, and race was extremely long. We raced for 160 Ks. And yeah, at the end we had to do those brutal hills, brutal climbs, but suddenly I don't know, got into this suffering mode, and I just wanted to cross the finish line first, as my team did amazing job before the climb and throughout the entire race. So I'm extremely pleased to be able to take another victory, especially that I really love this race. I have amazing memories, and it's so great to be here again, winning a stage.
When you did return to the race this year and you looked across the 6 stages, was today the one you and the team marked down and went, yeah, we're going for that?
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly what happened. Once I saw the stages, I was like, stage number 4 belongs to me. And to be honest, I wasn't really focused on entire GC. I just wanted to get this stage. So now I need to move on and think if there are any chances for winning GC. But yeah, definitely I was aiming into this stage.
And with that in mind, towards the closing kilometres, what goes through your mind? Is it like, this is mine, this is mine?
Don't mess it up, don't mess it up.
Kasia, congratulations. Thanks so much for joining us
Thank
up
you
here
so much.
on the hilltop as we head now for the next 2 days for 2 stages in Wales. Join us at the same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.